I'm currently on the roof of my house in the beautiful city of Boston, living with some of my closest friends in the entire world right now. And it's times like this, where things really just seem like they're going right, that I often find myself thinking about Vocaloid. Now, that probably sounds ridiculous. What does this have to do with anything? Why am I on the roof? Well, I'll bring it back all around eventually. But, you see, I make a lot of videos about Vocaloid. I talk about Vocaloid with a lot of people. And in these conversations, it inevitably comes up, always, the question of why. Why do you listen to Vocaloid? Why do you like Vocaloid? Why do you fight for Vocaloid? It doesn't always sound good. The actual tuning of the Vocaloid oftentimes is harsh and cut and dry and mechanical, and not something that's particularly pleasing to a lot of people. And that's fair. The actual composition is not always the most complex. It's often very simple things, very rudimentary rock and roll, very rudimentary pop, and that's fair too. But to think that way is completely missing something incredible about the medium. You see, unlike pop music, Vocaloid doesn't have to conform to anything. It can be about whatever it wants because it's all just done by people like you and me. But unlike indie music, you don't even need to sing, which means that Vocaloid can and is about everything. Every feeling that is ever circulated, anything that you ever want to express, can be expressed, has been expressed. And it's this wealth of diversity, of content, of idea, of theme, that draws me to the subject so much. In the brightest of times and in the darkest of times, there was always something about Vocaloid that could help me understand what I was feeling, that could help me come to a greater understanding of myself. And I truly believe that without Vocaloid, I wouldn't have that understanding of myself. I remember when my grandmother passed away, I spent hours crying to Glow by Kino. I remember them when I was at the darkest times of my life. I would just sit and waste away listening to Tawagoto Speaker. And that isn't healthy, that isn't good. But what it did do is it let me know. See, I really chalk my ability to get through the darkest times of my life to those songs. I think that the way they helped me understand how I was feeling, and the way that they let me know that other people felt it too, that these are things that you can experience and can work through, is instrumental, was instrumental, is always instrumental in letting you continue to walk forward. Whenever I see someone that is in agony, whenever I meet someone that is struggling with something, I think back to what I've known, what I've experienced, what I've learned. And I always come back to Vocaloid. Because Vocaloid is this incredibly personal thing. I think it's more personal than so much that's out there. And it's because of this incredibly close personal sense of idea and identity that the music can be so encompassing. Because they're not writing songs for everyone. They're writing songs for you and me. I have a lot of friends that listen to EDM or to pop, and they often ask me, what is it about Vocaloid in particular that is so special when there's all this other music out there? And to that I always say that, well, there's plenty of people that I'm sure really like Zed, or really like insert pop artist here. People love Vocaloid, because Vocaloid speaks to you and connects on a different level. It's not trying to entertain you, it's trying to move you. And I have been moved. People have been moved. I like to think we all have been moved. People ask me why I don't like a lot of modern Vocaloid music. People ask me why, as I often joke, Neurokajitsu is a piece of trash. And to that I always say that while I'm sure a lot of people are entertained by that music, it's not speaking to anyone. It's not saving them the way that Deer or Calc or Glow or Tawagoto Speaker or Q or things like that have saved me. I'll never be able to listen to Waswald and feel something the way that I can listen to Living with Depression and just cry. And that's not to say that any of this music is bad per se, but it's not what I came for. It's not what Vocaloid can be and what Vocaloid is. So when asked why Vocaloid is important, I always come back to the same things. Vocaloid is important because it helps people change. It helps people understand themselves and the world around them, and hopefully grow to be just a little bit better than they were the day before. I wouldn't be here, on this roof, with my friends in this city, if Vocaloid hadn't helped me grow and understand who I was when I was at my worst. And I think that's important. I think that will always be important. No matter what may come, no matter what producers come and go, the things that have already been made, the culture that we've created, the culture that I love, will always be special to me. and will always be something that I think is of value to everyone who's ever